Welcome to the She Force Show. I'm Amy Carlson, and my guest today is Melissa Whaley, online business manager. Welcome, Melissa.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. And I would love to start off talking about, so I know a bit about you anyway, but for our listeners, right now, you are an online business manager, but I know there were other steps to get you here. So do you want to tell us about that journey?
Yes. So in 2020, in April, of course, when everything was paused, I my daughter had just turned one. She was about to turn one, and that was during the 2 weeks, and it was you do something or you sit there for 2 weeks is kind of like the thing that was going around. And I had been thinking about starting my own business. And so I created an Excel spreadsheet and I showed it to my husband and I was like, here's my business plan. Here's how it'll look. What do you think? And it was around hand stamp jewelry. So I was going to learn how to stamp jewelry and then create a business around it. And at that point, with the world shutting down, there was a lot of joy missing. And so for me, when I was thinking about something quick that I could learn, something that I felt interested in learning, and something that would bring joy to other people was the jewelry, because I had gotten a necklace that had my kid or my daughter and my two dogs on it. And that really brought a lot of joy for me during the first year of her life. And so I wanted to do that for others. And so that's where it got its start. And then when we fast forward to a few years later, when I got pregnant with my second daughter, um, the the time it was taking to make the jewelry, to learn how to run a business, to actually run the business and do all the behind the scenes things, it was really stressful. um, and the time it took to actually sit down and make one piece of jewelry was about 45 minutes. And so knowing that if my business got successful and there was a lot of like people coming in and ordering, it was going to take a really long time to make all of those jewelry pieces that would take away from my family and my kids. And I thought, with two kids, like, how can I do that?
Yeah.
So when I looked at all of the things in my business that I really enjoyed, the thing that, aside from making the jewelry, but the thing that brought the most joy was really the back end pieces, like putting things together and learning the strategies and putting all that stuff together and, doing all the behind the scenes things with the branding and the websites. So I was like, you know what, I can help other people with their businesses. And that way I get to work with people. So I'm not just like, by myself trying to start an online business, which can get a little bit lonely, even with
Definitely.
the support of like coaching programs and stuff, which I was in, but it was still like, you're the only one in your business. So I was like, why don't I I could do that for other people. I could help other people with their businesses and build that community and have something where it's on the computer and a little bit more flexible with kids. So
That's
that's
awesome.
the
And
evolution.
it's something that, like you said, you looked at what do I like to do? What's going well for me?
Yeah.
And what fits with the lifestyle that I want to have with my young children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I this is what happens with me. Like a lot of questions come to my head at once. So I'm filtering through, and I'm going to start with this question um, about that, taking a look at that part, the entrepreneur and its connection to possibly motherhood. Because I
Mhm.
know for myself, that's when I started to look at other ideas. So I had been a teacher and I had thought that that would go really well with having kids. And in some ways it did. And in other ways, I found myself a little overwhelmed with kids 24/7, you know, and that's what led me to entrepreneurship initially. And I love hearing your story about how can I, how can I work with not only that I have a young child at home, but also that there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then how you pivoted again. Okay, now I have two young children, and I don't want to create a job that potentially could mean that I'm away from my kids all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of creativity that goes on there that you're expressing about how you have made these pivots what kinds of things you're interested in, how you're working work, career, and family together. So in your experience, how have you noticed creativity at work?
I think the creativity, not only in the business, but in the scheduling and making things work, it's like it's creativity and it's flexibility. It's like, what can I get done in this time slot? What can I get done in this time slot? And really, it's to me, my creativity in that sense is a little more like strategic or systematic, I guess.
Sure.
But it's like, how can I balance the two, and what task would be best suited, when my kid's napping versus when they're, learning, when we're eating lunch or when we're, doing something. And then yeah, and I think just kind of like as we go through and shift, it's the creativity to figure out how things can flow more. Because I think when I first started business, it was a lot of that, like I was very rigid in like structure because I was going and I was learning everything. And so it was just, I was gone for a lot of the time. And I didn't want to transition between the two because I wouldn't work as much when they were home. And then when my husband got home, I'd be like, okay, I'm gone for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
But then I didn't have time with him. So it's, being curious about how this can work. And like you said, asking all these how questions and recognizing when something isn't working. And then, okay, getting into the creativity of how can I make another system or you know, make an adjustment to make this flow a little bit better. And like you said, give the life that I want to have. Because the great thing about entrepreneurship is we build it, right? We get to choose. So if we don't like something, we can easily change it.
That's right. And I have noticed for myself, so you paired the words creativity and flexibility, which I think is so spot on. But I have noticed for myself though too, sometimes I have to remind myself, um, wait a minute, I'm in charge of what I'm doing. So if something's not working, there's no one else to blame.
Yeah.
And I get to create a new solution.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's both freeing and sometimes overwhelming. Have you experienced that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So how are you finding the flow of it now? So you got two young children, you've made the pivot in your business. How is it flowing now?
It's a lot better. There's definitely always room for improvements, but I think like one thing that I chose to do is put my oldest daughter in school. So she's in like a daycare. So last year we did 3 days a week, and then this year we're doing 5 days a week. So that was helpful. And it was a little bit challenging because it wasn't exactly in alignment with how I thought I was going to be as a mom.
Mm.
But I noticed that, when I put that ego or put that idea of myself aside, it was like, what's best for both of us, right? What's best for the business? What's best for my youngest daughter, what's best for her. And then I felt, that was the best choice. And so um it was that really helped. And so I want to make sure to say that is like I do have my youngest daughter at home with me, but I think a lot of the times when we talk about, freedom with our kids, it's like, how can we have them stay at home? And it was really challenging to have both kids at home because they need your attention, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, giving her that space to have her own time and to socialize and make friends, and then giving me a little bit more space to get things done. And then, working around nap times with my youngest daughter and meal times, and then being present in the meal times when she was, breastfeeding, and then we switched to formula, and just having those times for her. And then like, or like, what can I do on my phone while she's breastfeeding?
Yeah.
Or what can I
Yeah.
do while she's falling asleep? And then what can I do? Like what needs to be done when she's like during her nap that can't be done any other time? Like what can I do while I'm sitting and playing with her? And, those kinds of things. So it flows a little bit better, but there's definitely, I think, always room for improvement, especially because they grow and change so fast that a lot of things just shift and fast. So you feel like you've got a routine down, and then a nap drops, or, they wake up a little earlier and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the other good thing too is that working with coaches and service providers, like there's a lot of flexibility there too, because they're all so amazing about me having kids with me on the calls. And, like I try to do as much as I can when they're napping. But if it's like, hey, if you want to pop on a client call, just so you know, they might be with me. And as long as it's not super strategic where we really have to focus, like
Yeah.
they can hang out with us. And because we're all doing that, right? We're all creating the life we want. So I've been really, really blessed with some clients that really understand that.
That's awesome. And it makes sense that you would attract that, like that's the life you're living, and you're going to attract people that are living that life too. And so they've got an understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's such a great, leftover from the pandemic, for lack of a better word, but
Yeah.
that now we get it. We all have lives. We usually, when we're on Zoom, we get to see like at least a room in somebody's house.
A life.
We get
Yeah.
to see if they've got children or dogs or whatever going on. And I feel like it really adds to that human side.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing too, is like releasing this idea of whatever perfect would feel like, or like that professionality. Like there is a time and place that it's better to be professional. And then there's also, we all have a life. So it's just
Yeah.
releasing that like idea that we have to have everything put together and it has to be just so, and
Right.
just allowing our life to just be.
Yeah. Yeah. The lines have kind of blurred, and
Yeah.
which brings up other challenges too, right? Working from home. But on the other hand, like you said, I really feel like it's been a blessing to have a new idea of how we can still be professional
Yes.
and have life going on around us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So another thing I love to talk about on this show is confidence. And I'd be curious to hear about on your journey, as you have been making these pivots and adding to your family and working with a variety of people. How have you noticed your confidence shift? And also in this new job that you're doing as online business manager, when you are able to help people out in their business, relieve some of that perhaps stress, tension, maybe just things that they don't feel very confident or capable in. How have you noticed your clients' confidence shifting?
Yeah, that's a great question. Those are great questions. So when I first started, I definitely was not very confident. I had never gone live on Facebook. I hadn't even really been like posting or engaging very much. It was just mainly something to scroll on and look at what other people were doing. And then I remember the first video I made for my jewelry business, it was like pre-recorded and it took so many tries and I was just like, I still don't like it, but it is what it is, and just put it up there.
Yeah.
But now, it's a little bit easier to have these conversations. And like, this is my first guest speaking on a podcast. Like a couple years ago, I don't, I don't know how I would have felt about that opportunity. I might not have done it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's that. And it's also been a lot of discovering who I am and what I'm great at, because that was part of it, was like I didn't have a background in any like position or any job except for like some of the things I'd done, but I didn't have like a career before. And that was one thing that I really wanted to discover, was like, what do I want to do? Right? Like I want to be a mom, but what else do I want to do? Like what's something that I want to build for myself, and skills that I want to develop. And so that was part of the confidence too, is being able to learn new things and recognize that like we all have intelligence, and sometimes we have experience that kind of backs up what we're doing now, but like just learning new things and getting new things done. And then shifting into the VA work, working with other people. I think at first I was kind of like, you tell me what to do because you're the business owner, so and now it's more of like, well, I've learned a lot of this stuff. Like I've taken a bunch of courses and I've learned a lot, and I've had experience in my own business. And so now the confidence is more of like, I know that I'm good at this, and I'm, able to see the things that I'm really good at and have the confidence to go, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this over here, but I can help you with this part.
Yeah.
And have it be more of a balance where I'm helping them with something I might know more about, and then they're also giving their feedback because obviously their business, so they get to make the decisions, but having that confidence to bring some creative solutions to the table, or look up the answers that I don't know. But I think that was the big shift between calling myself a virtual assistant to an online business manager. Is once you level up in those skills, it's more about I'm helping with the strategy, I'm managing things, I'm putting the flows together, and that confidence to really like own the fact that I'm good at that.
Yeah.
And for motherhood, that's what mothers do, right? We plan all the things, we pay the bills, we do all the stuff in the house. So being able to take that, and like I already have experience with that here. I have experience with it in my jewelry business, with other business, or like with other jobs that I had, and being able to just boost my confidence and own it. And that's, I think, the confidence that you're talking about with clients too, is like I've like at first I thought, as a VA, I thought that clients would want to have more of like a say, and more of like, here's what you're doing, please just do the thing. But they really are looking for somebody that knows what they're doing and has that confidence and the know-how and the strategy to be able to give them some solutions. Because the biggest thing is taking some of those decision making and taking some of the stress, and like how to figure out what to do about something they might not be great at, because that's why they're hiring people, is they're either not good at it or they just really don't like it. So being able to really own my confidence helps my clients better, because they know that I've got it, I know that I've got it, and they trust me more, and they're also able to be more relieved, instead of like, I hope she knows what she's doing because she didn't seem confident. So it really gives them more peace of mind to know, like, okay, she's got it, she can handle it. Like now they know that they're more supported. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, nice. And hearing you say, peace of mind for you as you step into your confidence, for them as they fully hand over, oh, yep, she's got this.
Yeah.
Putting that idea together with confidence, like that there's a certain peace of mind that comes with that authentic confidence.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Because you're
Yeah.
not
I love how you paired
overanalyzing
that.
everything, or like, making decisions from fear, or like, what if I mess up? Like, okay, then you've learned something. Then we all get to talk about what we learned, and then we know
Yeah.
what didn't work, and then we try something else.
Yeah. And
But
we
you
move
have to have
forward.
confidence and peace of mind to try something. And like, if you don't take action, then you're not going to go anywhere. So
Exactly. And when we don't have that peace of mind, it's harder to make decisions.
yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So with this confidence, where's Melissa going with all of this? Do you see some, of course, there's your path. And then I'm just curious if there's something you're seeing on your path next, like, there's a new skill I want to learn, or new thing I want to offer, or maybe it's not even related to business at all, but what's next for Melissa?
Yeah. So, what's next is for the business side. I have a few people that I've been working with, freelancing, like as a team. So I have people that help and support me too, and we can all provide better services to our clients. And so, what's next for that is I'm excited to bring on somebody, myself, as a salaried member at some point, hopefully coming up pretty soon. And then, really masterminding together. I just sent an email to everybody and I was like, hey, like, let's all just get together and like team building mastermind, share ideas. And that's part of that confidence, is like hosting that and leading that and sharing what I know and learning from them. And I think that's also a key part of confidence, is knowing that you don't know everything, right? Like if you have confidence, but you think that you have to know everything, that's not really true confidence.
Yeah.
So yeah, just building that, and evolving into, I think I want to evolve it into like operations, specializing in operations, and just to have a team that we could just plug into a business and we take care of the things, and fully support the clients. And then personally, I've started taking dance classes. So yeah, really
Fun.
which was out of character before I had confidence, more confidence. So really excited about taking those and developing more confidence and more skills with things that I've previously told myself were not something that I'd be able to do. So, but
Look
really
at
enjoy
you, uh,
it.
getting rid of those limiting beliefs.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I think like the other future thing is a lot more like teaching. So I want to start a tech membership and just kind of like being able to teach so that if people don't want to have something done for you, or if they want to have, their VAs come in and learn something, more of like, hey, here's what we know, like here's what we've tried, and kind of mastermind and teach and mindset, right? Leadership mindset,
Ah,
delegation, how all that stuff works. So yeah.
fantastic. Well, there's creativity in action too, just how you're, building one thing upon the other. And um, wow, all of those sound really cool. So
Thank
hearing
you.
you, what's going on with your business, what you want to offer, that feels like, as an entrepreneur, I think,
Mhm.
wow, that feels amazing. Um, and then taking on dance lessons. What kind of dance?
I started learning Lindy Hop. So
Ooh,
East Coast swing Lindy Hop. Yeah.
oh my gosh, how fun is that?
It is really fun. Yeah, I hadn't gone for a couple months because work got busy. And so that was, something that I took a moment to kind of catch up with everything. And now I'm like, okay, but this was really fun. I want to go back and do it. So I went back last night and I was kind of surprised because I thought, oh, I might forget everything because I just learned for 2 months and then took a 2-month break, but I picked it back up and I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at this.
Some good old muscle
I'm
memory.
learning. Yeah.
Yeah. And, that's a good point too. I know that the times I feel most stuck, whether it's in my business or just, something in life that I'm like just kind of spinning my wheels, if I get out of that, whatever the situation is, if I take a fresh perspective. So doing something like going to a dance lesson,
Yeah.
the kind of space it frees up in our mind, because we're not dwelling on that one thing, whatever it is, that's going round and round. And we get to experience something from a whole different perspective, and we get to be a complete beginner.
Yeah.
And we get to tap into, it sounds like it's really joyful for you to go to dance class. And then amazingly, that little thing that was just bothering me or that I was stuck on kind of clears itself up because I went and did something different.
Yeah. Yeah. You took a break out of it and then you got to come back at it with a fresh perspective or, at least just more peace of mind to make decisions,
Yes.
right? Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You've had more fun. So you're coming back from that joy place instead of the worry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, bringing it right back around again to where you started with your jewelry making, about the joy.
It's
Oh, so
always
cool.
about the joy for me.
Always
Yeah.
about the joy. It should be about the joy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Melissa, this has been such a delight. And, as we're wrapping up, I want to give you the opportunity in case there's anything that you feel like, ooh, there was this other thing I wanted to just share, or an inspiration that you want to leave our audience with. I just want to give you that opportunity. Yeah.
Okay. I think the other thing too, the one thing that I want to share is I do also have a book that just got published. So it's on Amazon and it's called Becoming a Heroine, and it's a like a workbook. And the way that that links also is that started off as a creative project that was just for fun, and I didn't have any plans to do anything with it. And the opportunity came for it to get published. And then the other thing is like taking those moments of inspiration and just creating, even if you feel like, oh, this isn't relevant to anything, or maybe this is taking time away from something else, like to go with those moments of inspiration because they do happen for a reason. And so seeing all the times that I've allowed myself to just do what I felt inspired to do and how it's come back around to be relevant and build upon my business has been really exciting. And so, just keep following those joyful moments of inspiration because you never know how it's going to add up in the future and how things will blend together. So
Oh, that's great advice.
thank you.
Yes. So, with that in mind, at the end of the show, I always like to remind people that something that sparked you today from this conversation, when this ends, take that little nugget, whatever it was, and put it into action right away before you get too busy, before you forget, before you lose the inspiration, and see where that transformation takes you. So, Melissa, thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. And it's such a joy having you here today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amy. It was such a great honor to be here.